I didn't change the name of the show this week, so we're just gonna go with whatever the show title of the show is, because we were already streaming. I am your host, as always, Chad Porto. Joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus, we are a day removed from Halloween, and I am, as the kids say, sad.
Yeah, I thought about it till late. I was like, yeah, this is Chad's favorite holiday, isn't it?
It is. I decorated my room. I decorated my yard. I decorated my house.
Nice.
We had a 400% increase on trick or treaters from last year,
Oh, wow.
from 0 to 4. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me feel better because it's like, yeah, it's not the neighborhood you trick or treat in.
Aw. I live on a cul-de-sac, so like when the youngins go a running, they don't always come a running over here. Although yesterday we had 4 kids, so I was like, yeah, I bought $10 worth of candy, and y'all fuckers only took 80 cents of it, so that's fine. Take more. I think I gave more candy to my neighbors than I did anyone else. Oh well. I watched a bunch of Halloween specials like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and what else? Superstore and a couple Office ones because Peacock had like all of the Halloween spooky episodes in like one category. So I was watching
Right.
those all day and all night. So like that was pretty cool.
I was thinking about like that because I was thinking about that. I think I had tweeted you that gif of when Kevin Bacon was scaring those kids in that car. I was like, I don't know why they don't play Hollow Man during Halloween. That's a
You know,
that's wrong.
Marius, it's funny you bring that up because I was thinking about it. The best movies that don't qualify as Halloween movies.
Yeah.
The Faculty could definitely be a Halloween movie. Gremlins, technically not Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah, I
what's
know. I know this. The other movie we love that's during the daytime, but could also count as a horror movie is The Congo.
Yes. Oh, let's see. Like half of that movie is like what I want my life to be, being able to fucking sign language with a monkey. Like hell yeah, hell yeah. Hey, I need a tree stump removed from the yard. Hey Coco, can you help Daddy out? Just rips it out. Good Coco. Good Coco. I forget what the name of the gorilla was, but we'll go with Coco. The Mummy could technically be a Halloween movie, although that movie's kind of all over the place in genre. It's supposed to be a remake of the horror movie The Mummy, but it's also very silly and action adventure, but it also is kind of horrifying.
Yeah, you could say Spawn as a
Mm-hmm.
horror movie and horribly made.
It's horrible in so many ways.
Yeah.
I had like two more that would qualify as a good Halloween but non-Halloween movie, and I can't remember what they are now.
Definitely the first two Blades.
Yeah, third one, it's just horrifying for different sets of reasons. That's for sure.
Uh,
I was because I was thinking about this at the start of the month last month, and I was like, some of these movies I like aren't Halloween movies, but definitely could be Halloween movies.
what time of year did the first two Turtles movies happen in? Was it around the holiday?
I think it was around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I mean, technically those could count because like costumes and whatnot. I don't really see it that way though. Like, there's one movie that I enjoy that I'm like, yeah, this would totally work. Like Predator, Predators,
Oh yeah.
Alien,
Hmm.
Star Trek First Contact because the Borg are fucking horrifying. They're just ganking your ass out the goddamn airlocks and whatnot. Star Wars is 7, 8, and 9 just because of, the terrifying aspect of the fact that they were ever made. Oh, okay. Elysium? No, not Elysium. Pandorum. Starred,
I know it's good.
uh, who the fuck was in that? Gigadent, I think his name was like Gabe Gigadent.
Yeah, and it's,
I keep wanting to say Kurt Russell, but I know it's not Kurt Russell. He was in that movie, The Rookie. where he's a 40-year-old science teacher and he becomes a pitcher in the major leagues or some shit like that.
Ah, yeah.
I can't remember his name. His
Something
brother's
that.
insane.
Yeah, I just watched it for as long as it had been out. I think Prometheus could count too.
Yeah, Prometheus. I'll never watch it again because it horrified me. But Event Horizon definitely could count. Hoif. Hoifa. Ugh.
Event Horizon. Okay.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne and the Grant from Jurassic Park are in it, and they end up going through like a wormhole that takes or they encounter another ship that has gone through a wormhole, and it turns out the wormhole takes them to hell. So now the other ship has like a bunch of like demons on it, and they get
Mm,
on the Event Horizon, which is the ship that Lawrence Fishburne's the captain of, and Neil, I forget his name. It's like Neil McFlinney or something like that. He's he's the guy from Jurassic Park, and he's trying to get the ship to go to the wormhole, and Lawrence Fishburne has to make sure that doesn't happen. Like, yeah, that movie definitely fucking.
yeah,
That
it's
movie stayed with me. I was 12, and it stayed with me.
it wasn't a horror movie, but I mean it kind of was because it happened in real life. Deep. Speaking of Horizon, Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah, yeah. Deep Blue Sea.
Hmm.
Thomas Jane, not as the Punisher. That's horrifying.
Yeah, that movie does horrifying, specifically when the shark is swimming with the dude in his mouth, and Samuel just goes, "Somebody please tell me what that is."
It's the harbinger of your doom.
Throws him into the glasses. Like the minute that shit cracked, I would have been Speedy Gonzalez.
Some people
Oh,
just don't learn. Marcus, they just don't learn. So let's talk about some horrible news. Out of Philadelphia, Ring of Honor. This is old news by at this point, but we're gonna weigh in. They're going on hiatus, my friend, and it's a big deal because all of the wrestlers had their contracts essentially voided. Now, basically there's been some misreporting that I want to clarify. The headline was the whole roster was released. That's not true. Not technically. Everyone is still under contract. They still have dates that they're obligated to fulfill. What's happening is, and it's not a better scenario for fans. The wrestlers that are currently still contracted with the company are going to be contracted through the end of January or until the end of March, depending on which cycle of contracts they're on. But they're not going But after Final Battle, they're not doing any more new shows until I want to say April. There's talks of them possibly doing something for their anniversary show, but we'll see what happens there. And essentially, all the contracts are now open-ended. So, like, if you're Shane Taylor, you have to be at the November whatever set of tapings and the December set of tapings, and you got to be at Final Battle. But as long as you're willing to make those dates still, you can now work for anyone else as well. So the exclusivity of the Ring of Honor contracts have been disintegrated, so to speak, dissolved. Now, the reports that we're seeing claim that they're going back to their old model. Now, I kind of like to look at wrestling the way we look at college basketball programs. You got your majors, your high majors, your mid majors, your low majors, and then your West Tennessee of California Tech State. And for the longest time, they've been, in my opinion, a mid-major. They're not on national television, but they are on syndicated television. They are owned by a pretty big company in Sinclair Broadcasting. So they always kind of have that built-in situation with Sinclair in terms of like they'll always have a place to air on. But they also lose out on potential revenue because of that. That's one of the issues that Impact has to deal with is that they're on the same network that they're owned by Anthem. Anthem owns Access TV and Impact, so there's not a TV deal there per se. It's a mutually beneficial situation. They need programming to air. They need a place to air on. So it behooves Access and Sinclair to air their own product. Now, what we're going to end up seeing is their TV spot isn't going anywhere. But depending on what part of the country you're on, you may not see them at all. You may see them at 8 in the afternoon. You may see them at 12 in the morning or 3 in the morning. So it's not exactly an easy thing to find. They've had their Honor Club, which is like their, internet streaming service and community page or whatever. But I never heard a lot of people subscribing to it, so I don't know how popular it is. Now, they're going to end up going back to the way things were in the early to mid 2000s, where everyone was kind of on a show by show basis, where hey, we'll give you $500 to show up, and we want to schedule you for the next 3 or 4 shows. So if you can keep the 25th, the 28th, the 4th, and the 3rd open for the next 3 months, like that'd be great. And they're going to go back to that kind of idea where they're booking guys on the independent scene and building themselves back up as an independent promotion again. It worked for them last time. Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, CM Punk. Let's see, Jerry Lynn was there for a spell during that era. The Briscoe brothers got started there, though. The Wolves got started during that era. So they've had success in GCW. Same animal at the moment in terms of like how they're booking talent. A lot of their guys are on per show bases. Now, some guys like Nick Gage will be far more loyal than say a Mance Warner, and I shouldn't say loyal like it's something to strive for because it's about making money. That's it. But I think you'll see the same aspect happen with Ring of Honor. And there's a few reasons why I think this has happened. One, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm curious if maybe Sinclair's getting ready to sell. Generally speaking, you see big changes to big properties. And Ring of Honor is a pretty big property right before purchase or a sale. So I wonder if Sinclair's getting ready to sell them and or themselves. Could be. We'll see if that ends up happening. The other reason is they haven't had any paying revenue and attendance in over a year, but that doesn't seem, I think, to be the biggest issue at hand. I think mostly it comes down to the fact that even without huge gated attendance, I think a lot of the issues that Ring of Honor has been suffering from has been more than just this last year. I think they've been having issues dating back to when the Elite left. They went and started AEW. New Japan and Ring of Honor started to kind of hit the brakes a bit because they did that big Madison Square Garden show in, what was that, 2020? 2019? I want to say it was the start of 2020. And then all of a sudden, they're kind of leaning on guys like Matt Taven. PCO. You're leaning on, Roosh and Bandito. And now listen, some of these guys are really great workers, but they're not big draws. Like, as good as Bandito is, and Bandito is pretty damn slick to look at. He's got a great look. He's not someone that you're going to be paying money to see. He's what I like to call a B-tier character. He looks cool, but that's it. He doesn't cut promos. His character's really not fleshed out. There's no hook to come in and see him. CM Punk's wrestling like a 42-year-old dude who's got no athletic ability. Yet he's still a draw. There's a reason for that, because people like him. They find him entertaining. He's engaging. He's charismatic. He's different. You can be a silent luchador in 1997 and stand out, and you can't do that in 2021. So I feel like the lack of a roster has hurt them. Then, of course, you have the situation brewing with, who was it, Killer Kelly and, Joey Mercury, the issues with Ring of Honor and the backstage individuals who were kind of accused of being not so good. I think that's kind of coming to a head all at the same time, and it could be one of those things where people at Sinclair is like, we need to clean house and restart because, clearly we are in a situation where we're not doing well. And now a lot of talent's going to be out of work. A lot of, backstage crew's going to be out of work. Where there's a collapse, though, Marcus, there's opportunity. And while Ring of Honor may not be going anywhere in the foreseeable future, there are some exciting possibilities out there. Like MLW might have the resources possible to pick up some of these guys and bolster themselves. You know, GCW may find a next step in their evolution because of this. Impact could embroider themselves and bolster themselves significantly. AEW may be able to pounce on a lot of the secondary crew members that are getting released from this company, get the rights library, which many people are angling for them to get, and start their own streaming service. So there's a lot of possibilities here. And while people will lose their jobs and be out of work momentarily, this opens up a smorgasbord of Pandora's boxes in terms of like what could happen next. Like, this is one of the 4 biggest promotions in North America, and it's all but shutting down. We don't even know if it's coming back. They say they intend to, but Marcus, this is pro wrestling, and what do they say on every card? It's subject to change. So
Yeah.
we don't know what's happening here. Initial thoughts, though, of this, Marcus. How did you feel?
I did not see this coming. And obviously it sucks because, I'm not one of those immediately, and it's not talking about you. Obviously, you privy to a lot more information. You kind of see writing on the wall, and you kind of just, tweet it out about suggestions. But I mean, I think that it's obviously beneficial immediately to people like Impact, WWE, and AEW. But obviously, I think the saddest part is, between, talking with you about it, James on the True Penny show, like, I've talked about Ring of Honor a lot over this past year. And a lot of it has been positive and them making positive moves, both with the roster and stuff, and specifically of late, them finally getting that women's division up off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Really was some momentum behind them, and obviously we've seen the rise and success of your boy Shane Taylor and Shane Taylor Promotions, which has been brilliant to watch. And I got brought back as a viewer through the Pure tournament a lot like you did in a lot of ways, and that's been brilliant. And seeing that be executed, I think in a really good way, and just seeing a lot of young names be brought into the company and honed through that division. So it sucks from a perspective of it's not just like a company that was floundering both in front of and behind the camera that's just kind of fizzling out. It kind of sucks because it feels like they had some form of momentum, even if they do kind of get looked at as the black sheep in a way, or the stepping stone for a lot of guys to get to some of these other promotions, specifically WWE and AEW. So for me, like I said, I didn't see it coming, but it sucks because, like you said, one, they out of jobs, which for most of them may not be for long, but for some of them, they may not get picked up for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because the internet, how the wrestling Twitter is, everybody immediately got ideas. It's like, I know what you guys have in your head, but AEW can't get everybody. They have enough as it is.
They have too much as it is.
Exactly. So, I mean, I get what you guys want these matchups, but for a lot of these guys, if you do see them in the company, they're kind of going to just be some, passers-by, because not everybody can get picked up. And, I think it obviously these guys may not want to go to Impact. They may look at AEW as the new hotness and WWE as the place they may finally try to go, because for a long time they didn't necessarily see themselves succeeding there, but now it's like it's now or never for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's a gamble. So it sucks because ultimately what it comes down to is that we may very well, despite what they said, be losing yet another alternative for these guys to work that's different from what we get from these other places. And it's been like, I hope they do something and come back with a refresh, but it's just, I don't know, man. This too fugazi, if you will. I don't know how finances were behind the scenes or whatever what was going on, but somebody made a call. Somebody saw something that didn't necessarily look good for long-term gain, made a call, and this is kind of what it is, and it sucks. Like I said, there's people that's kind of in limbo right now, and with wrestling, you kind of always in limbo because you're working with your main tool all the time. So it sucks, man. It sucks. Ring of Honor, I thought had some good momentum, but like you said, called subject to change.
we have some insight from Shane Taylor himself. He was on the Handsome Genius Club radio show.
Mm.
And Taylor went on to emphasize that it was the management that screwed the pooch. I mean,
Mm.
obviously. He goes on to say, quote, I think the most frustrating part of... excuse me, I completely fucked that up. I think the most frustrating part about it is all of this could have been prevented. You know what I mean? There were steps along the way that could have been taken, that should have been taken. Ideas that were given that should have been listened to, you know, and just did not happen. So this is the situation that they find themselves in. And it's one of those things, no matter how talented a group of people you have, no matter how talented the men and women are, no matter how talented the roster is, the roster can only do so much.
Yeah.
He goes on to elaborate saying there's a lot of things that could have prevented this. There's a million resources that they have at Sinclair, from radio to TV, that they could have been to utilize, you know what I mean, to promote locally. If we were doing live events, when you think about, like, if there's a concert or a comedy show or something like that, you always see the artist out there 2-3 days beforehand in the city doing promo work, doing radio, TV, all that promoting stuff. I just felt like things that they weren't done and they could have been. We have resources to do it. We have the talent who's willing to do it. You know, it simply takes the phone calls to be made. You know what I mean? Then he goes and talk about the roster and how good it is. Let's see. And actually, that we have our own roster second to none. I would put Ring of Honor's top 20 wrestlers right now against anybody's, and I feel like we will match up well. He also spoke very highly about the dojo, Shane Taylor Promotions. So, you know, Ring of Honor's always kind of been a company that succeeded in spite of themselves.
Mm.
I think it was Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Because Sinclair's owned Ring of Honor for at least 10 or 15 years, 12 years. And Jim Cornette was one of the first names to come on to guide Ring of Honor in the Sinclair broadcast era. Seth Rollins was there at the time as Tyler Black. He was their champion. Michael Elgin, Kevin Steen, those guys. And he told a story about how they couldn't, about how Sinclair wouldn't give Ring of Honor money to buy new drapes and curtains so they can block off seats in an arena that weren't filled. They also talked about how one time somebody got a concussion, and because no one from Sinclair was there, Jim Cornette had to go with the wrestler to the hospital, because Jim Cornette was acting as the Scott D'Amore type. So he had to have someone run the show in his absence while he went to the hospital with this guy, because no one from Sinclair would take him, because no one was there. And these aren't isolated stories. This has been Sinclair's MO with this company since they bought them. They've barely put any time or effort into it. Only recently, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, did their contracts actually become viable in terms of like the long-term ones. They used to have a deal that were similar to what Lucha Underground and MLW were giving out, and that's not exactly a grand idea. So a lot of guys were not happy with their paying Ring of Honor for a long time because of Sinclair. So all this, you know, the Killer Kelly stuff, or Kelly Klein, I forget her name. You know, all the stuff with Sinclair's business practices, the lack of people in attendance for the last year plus. It's one of those things where they're not in a place where they're going out of business, right? Like, they have plenty of capital to draw from. It's that Sinclair themselves are like, we're tired of putting money into you. And I would not be surprised if the next logical step is for them to be sold. And if I'm AEW, I'm seeing Ring of Honor with significant name brand. I'm seeing dozens of guys not getting everyday work, and I'm thinking to myself, let's buy the promotion, buy the television rights, run house shows with our younger guys who need more, you know, time. Put guys like Joey Janela on the Ring of Honor roster because he's not getting any real airtime on AEW TV. Turn it into the new OVW for AEW and go from there. I think that's the best way to bring Ring of Honor back. I wouldn't mind if Impact got the rights to them. Mostly what I want is Impact to get a few guys. And I made a list of the guys I want. So I originally just looked at the wrestlers. So I forgot Caprice Coleman because he's technically an announcer. But Caprice Coleman's on the list just as an announcer. Because I don't know if he wants to wrestle anymore. If he does, fantastic. If he doesn't, that's fine. So here's who I want. I want Angelina Love. We got Madison Rayne. We got Chelsea Green. We got Tennille. Do your own new version of the beautiful people, although mine is Chelsea Green. I make no apologies. You have Brody King, who I think would be a great hoss. You have Danhausen, who's my favorite thing ever. Hire the Hausen. Come on. EC3, but not with this gimmick. Like, he's the only person in the world who thinks this is a good gimmick. Oh, Ethan, what are you doing? Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham, obviously. Josh Woods, but he needs a new name. Josh the Good Woods, more like no thank you. Mike and Maria Kanellis Bennett, or Mike and Maria Bennett Kanellis, or whatever their name is. PCO. Roxy, she's the Women of Honor champion. Shane Taylor, obvi. And then Tracy Hot Sauce Williams, although with a new name. That would be my dream selection from Ring of Honor. The Briscoes can go wherever. I don't care. I don't want them in Impact. But that's who I would bring in. Marcus, I'm sure a lot of those names are similar for you. Is there anyone else that you would bring in that I didn't name?
I mean, I bring in Shane Taylor Promotions along with Shane Taylor.
Okay.
I bring in Eli Easom.
Okay.
You already said Caprice. Man, it almost be weird seeing Dalton Castle anywhere else. Like you said, definitely Gresham. You already said like Maria.
The only other name I thought of was Silas Young. I thought he'd be pretty good in Violent by Design. I mean, he and Joe Doring are basically the same person. I've never.
He's a Doring, yeah.
Marcus, I've never seen the two men in the same place at the same time.
Facts. Hey man, what am I saying, man? You know you gotta have my boy. I got to always put off on King. Bring him back.
Kenny King. Maybe he can bring back his Chippendales dancing gimmick.
Yeah.
Hey, he was proud enough to tell people he did that. So, like, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I was good. He was on The Bachelorette. The King's been doing his thing. He's done his thing. But yeah, man, that whole Pure division gone. Damn.
That would be something that I would like to see Impact acquire. Like, let Ring of Honor go to AEW in perpetuity, like the name brand, the touring rights, the responsibilities, and all that. But have Impact buy the Pure division. Like, here's $20. Give me the Pure title.
That's funny because that's like the only non-new looking title.
It's their best looking title too. That's a great belt. And with Impact developing their own roster, like they hired. We'll get to who they hired recently, but like they're making smart choices with some of these new guys. Like Bronson Reed's coming in eventually. We'll get to why he hasn't been in yet. Impact signed a new wrestler over the weekend, and like these are the guys I want to see more of in Impact. Not your Matt Cardonas. Oh my God, I can't believe that I actually prefer a Brian Myers angle over anything Matt Cardona is doing. Like, you both are the same side of the sucky coin, or different sides of the same sucky coin. But I at least like what Brian Myers is doing because you got Ziggy Dice. Ziggy Dice is a personality. He's swinger. That's a dream team in my mind. Plus, they got the Demon. Dude, like, that's cool. I don't expect him to win the fucking world title, but he's there, and I dig it, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you keep that in the digital community. You keep those guys in that digital realm that Jordan Grace talks them all about.
Yeah, we can get rid of that belt.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I feel the biggest success I think Cardona has had since leaving WWE has been what, GCW?
Yeah, where he won the title and nearly got killed by the crowd.
Which I don't know why he keeps going back there because that's not that's kayfabe. I mean, not kayfabe. They really want to kill him. Like, that's not a thing. Like, one, you suck, and two, you're from WWE, so you suck twice. Now you got your girl coming in. Yes, that's not a good idea, man.
No.
Um, but yeah. Although I don't, I don't know what's the potentiality for seeing another couple versus couple thing with them going against Canellis and Bennett. We've kind of been there, done that. I don't want to see Maria come in and try to take over the women's division again. Although seeing her and Gail Kim potentially go at it again, that would be fun.
Just bring her in with that same hairstyle and booty shorts she had for New Japan. Bring in somebody for Bennett to tag with, because I think Taven was his tag team partner then, and have Taven and Bennett go after the Bullet Club.
Yeah, you
Or,
know
or
what? Bring it. Yeah,
I was gonna say, or better yet, have them join the Bullet Club, so they can go after Gallows and Anderson as new Bullet Club representatives.
yeah, that'll be. I'll just bring them in just to do that. Call lusting after Maria. That'll be the only time I ever recommend anything with those dudes. That's it. Well, we need. I want the camera guy from New Japan though. I don't want them or whoever was doing the pigeons loose crap. Oh, yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good. Somebody on Twitter said, "Don't forget Dalton." And I said, "Dalton Castle." I didn't forget him. I excluded him.
Yeah, I'm with you, dog. I don't know. Look, don't bring in the Briscoes. Don't bring in like Chad is being generous with Woods because the kid's actually good, but he don't like the name. But yeah, we don't need the Briscoes. The Briscoes to me we're gonna retire Ring of Honor, and now that that's not the thing, that should no longer be a thing. Um, so
Yeah, and it's all Jay's fault.
yeah, I mean, but I want to say we really shocked, but I mean,
We're not.
wasn't that Dawn his world title reign he did that?
Yup.
Yeah.
Like he's from Delaware, rolls with the Confederate flag all over the place. I'm pretty sure Delaware wasn't a southern state, but anyway, whatever. Doesn't like the gays. Him and AJ
Yeah.
Styles must go to the same church.
Like all this time, reach for the sky, boy. I should have paid more attention.
Right?
Uh,
Like they're he's telling you. Now Mark's crazy. Mark's just a crazy dude. He's never said anything offensive, so I don't know if he and Jay are that much alike, but
yeah.
it is something to keep an eye on. But yeah, they can go wherever. I think the best bet for this survival of Ring of Honor as a brand and as a roster and as those backstage crew members would be to get sold to AEW as a subsidiary and as a developmental brand. I think that's the way to go. But who knows if Tony Khan wants to drop $10 million on the promotion and whatnot. I don't know if that's how much it's cost, but that's how much I would assume that would cost. Because like, I can't imagine it costs more than that.
I mean, good luck on them. I mean, they all selling stuff. I think apparently they may be outselling WWE in terms of attendance at certain shows and whatnot. And obviously, like I said, the new hotness, everybody loving the whole AEW vibe. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try. Well, that's loosely affiliated with AEW because that's Jericho's thing. But I'm pretty sure that cruise situation will come back up. Like it's a lot of stuff that they're doing that's just far more interesting than anything with WWE, and obviously Impact does their own thing. But yeah, like people just kind of gotta get it in their mind that the man like he's got money, but even if he gets a lot of these people, again, what you want them exclusively on Dark and mildly peppered into Rampage and Dynamite, like they not getting necessarily the names that they need to on a consistent basis as it is. So it's gonna be interesting seeing where these guys are. I think that who I feel bad for mostly on an immediacy end is the women
Mm-hmm.
because they just kicked it off properly. Like with the what that was what was the show? Best in the World.
Yeah, I think so.
It was Best in the World with those specifically those two young ladies that battle for the championship. I would love if Impact could get them. I think that would be great. Any cool additions to the to the roster that aren't um, former WWE talent that necessarily wasn't the best even when they were there. So that would be an improvement. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how this falls out because when I heard that, what I really was surprised about that whole library. situation because I'm like, wow, that's up for grabs. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because that is something WWE will get for the, just to be spiteful douchebags, you know. But yeah,
We'll see who ends up with that. I know Impact and AEW are probably the forerunners for it because the WWE doesn't seem to be all that concerned with picking up
yeah,
rights libraries at the moment due to Peacock. New Japan may be a player for it too, for all we know. They're trying to get New Japan Strong. Like that could be a dark horse that we don't really think about. New Japan Strong isn't really a name brand. If you come in, purchase the Ring of Honor name brand, turn that into New Japan Strong America, and then run it basically as Ring of Honor New Japan or whatever, I think you might have something there because I think there's a lot of potential there in
yeah.
a developmental brand for a lot of companies. So I think if you're AEW or New Japan, like Ring of Honor should be a must-have item for your holiday shopping list. All right, we're moving on. Marcus, speaking of cancellations, we know Lucha Underground bit the dust a few years back. MLW is attempting to bring something similar to it back with Dario Cueto, and rumors have it, Katrina. They were rolling with Selena De La Renta, but she left, and I think she's doing. I think she, I was gonna say autographed, auditioned for the WWE, so she may be going there, or she may be going into acting. But Katrina is supposed to be coming into MLW, and she's supposed to be coming in with King Muertes, the former Mil Muertes, and Dario Cueto, who has a different name now. Like they were all supposed to form a new MLW, a new Lucha Underground promotion called Azteca Underground. They have the idea of filming shows, and they want to run it as a separate entity, kind of like how Eric Bischoff originally wanted to do Nitro and Thunder, with Nitro being WCW and Thunder being for the NWO. That seems to be the plan, but as of right now, the show's on hold, and Dave Meltzer has an update as to why. Apparently, MLW had announced tapings in September in the Auditorio de Tijuana. I think that's the Tijuana Auditorium. In early August, the plan was to work with the Crash promotion, which was formerly Conan's group, until he left, which would have hinted that Conan would return working with the Crash, though he would not be leaving his office duties in AAA. MLW is reportedly still looking to return in Tijuana for a Mexico tour. It was previously reported that New Japan had prevented Will Ospreay from working this tour due to AAA talent working with the tour because New Japan and CMLL are working together. But the reason why this all happened is because apparently the new show isn't solidified enough. The TV deal was not set in stone, causing plans to fall apart. Now, right now, they're airing on DAZN, Fubo Sports, and BN. At least I'm pretty sure they're still running on all of those. So that's kind of where they're at right now. They were supposed to land on, what was it, Pluto TV? No. What was that one that we watch? Tubi. They were going to land on Tubi because Fox is trying to get Tubi to also have live TV. I think if you go on Tubi right now, they have live stations on there, and they were going to have MLW on that. But WWE is like, hey, we have a wrestling program. How dare you? Because WWE is just a giant box of bitches at this point. So I'm pretty sure that the Tubi deal falling through hurt Azteca Underground, and now we're in limbo with what to do with that concept. That's also why they released 4 wrestlers. None of them are worth mentioning, although Myron Reed's buddy got let go, so I'm fine with that. He was not good. He was not good at all. So here's hoping that they find a place to air on eventually, because I would like to see what this Azteca Underground idea ends up becoming. So.
Yeah, man. Anything that can be salvaged from Lucha Underground is a aim. But specifically with talent that were actually there, specifically Katrina and Mil Muertes, 2 of the most recognizable faces from that brand besides Dario Cueto.
Yeah. You ain't wrong. You are not wrong. Real briefly, Kurt Angle says former TNA rival will be will be WWE champion eventually. Let's see, who is this about? On the latest
Yeah, he said.
episode of the 96, spoke with his match with Bobby Roode. Although Angle ended up leaving the night with the championship, it was widely expected that the night was supposed to be the confirmation of Bobby Roode's TNA next big star. Thank God that never happened. Roode was not a good headliner. Let's see where that.
That's interesting. I think that's the one time we divided. I actually appreciated his first run, just because of the transition. But like you gotta love Kurt, because TNA was one thing. WWE is a completely different. So I think he might have peaked in NXT.
Yes.
Um,
And he's in his 40s now.
And yeah, he's in his 40s. He's been tagging with Rude, so that kind of tells you
Dolph Ziggler.
kind of like you need to know. And yeah, I mean, Kurt, you gotta love Kurt. He was selling that he was happy with how he retired in WWE, which is a complete another bull. But you told a lie where your bread's buttered. So, God bless Kurt. I think he thanks highly of Rude, as he should. He's a very competent performer. I'm sure a potentially quality guy behind the scenes, but it is what it is where he's at right now. You got to recognize that. Now, obviously we done seen Jinder Mahal get the belt, so you can never say never. But
I'm saying never. Bobby Roode is 45 years old. He hasn't done anything in the WWE to warrant any type of, commiseration. Like he is who he is at this point. And while Kurt what's that?
People are over the song.
Yeah, Kurt may be of the mindset that he could be a world champion at some point. Maybe in 2007 SmackDown, sure. I just don't see it happening in this situation. It's not going to happen. Sorry, Kurt. Moving on, we got what's the next story? Josh Barnett's coming back to New Japan. Yay! New Japan announced Saturday night. New Japan announced Saturday night that former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett is returning to the promotion for the first time in over 17 years as a competitor. Should be emphasized that Barnett was doing commentary for New Japan with Jim Ross before the inception of AEW. And Josh Barnett hunted down Jay White once. And that's like the greatest moment in wrestling history to me.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That needs to finally come to fruition. Barnett will be facing off with Alex Coughlin at the New Japan Strong Detonation taping on November 15th in Riverside, California. The roster is stacked with a lot of hybrid MMA wrestlers like Tom Waller, former UFC and PFL competitor. He's the New Japan Strong Heavy Openweight champion. He's taking on Fred Rosser, a.k.a. Darren Young. Tomohiro Ishii is taking on Brody King. Jesus Christ, someone's going to die. Jonathan Gresham is taking on Gabriel Kidd. Barnett's taking on Coughlin. Jay White and Hikuleo are taking on Alex Zane and Chris Dickinson, while Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobbs, and TJP are taking on Carl Fredericks, Clark Connors, and Ren Narita. Leo Rush and Adrian Quest taking on Bateman and Mysterioso. And then Kevin Knight and the DKC is taking on Brogan, Finley, and Jordan Clearwater. And that's your Detonation taping lineup. Marcus, I'm excited for it because I like Josh Barnett. I like to see him wrestle. And he made his pro wrestling debut in the main event of the January 4th Dome Show. Fun factoid. Any interest in seeing Big Barnett?
After hearing that lineup, man, like get your soda pop, get your popcorn, and get your dual pack of Icy Hot. Because did you say Ishii versus who?
Ishii versus Brody King.
Ow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You're already hurt, aren't you?
My soul. It's radiating from my soul. Oh man.
It's not gonna be a fun day for anyone in that lineup. Like that's they call it strong for a reason, Marcus.
Yeah, man.
They aren't lying.
Look, man, I think it's brilliant. His continued working, his continued relation. Like he's kept a strong relationship with New Japan and actual wrestling companies.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh Barnett may be coming back to MMA here shortly. He's still signed with Bellator last I checked, so we'll see if that ends up morphing into anything besides being a Power Ranger. By the by, I saw that they're making Power Ranger, like the ninjutsu Power Rangers hoodies now. I'm gonna have to find the website for you, Marcus, because I may be buying one.
Okay, well, this is a what now?
The ninjutsu Power Ranger outfits, remember those?
Oh, come on, man. I had, damn it, did I have one or did I have? No, I had one of them. I had the white tanker uh slip on with the plastic face mask.
Ah, yes. I think I had the ninjutsu one for Halloween once, but they made them into hoodies now.
Oh yeah, you got to give me that link. I'm gonna scrounge something together. Yeah, that's that. Come on, man. That's God tier, man. That. What Ninja used to say? You need to unleash the power of ninja.
Ninja. All right. I gotta find the article. Bronson Reed. That's I was like, what's his name? It's Bronson Reed.
Big boy.
That'd be a great idea for like a gimmick. What's my name? Bronson Reed. All right. So according to the Wrestling Inc. Daily, Bronson Reed, now known as Jonah, all capital letters, spoke with Nick Hausman and explained why he wasn't at Bound for Glory. Where is it? I guess it starts there. Well, I'm not at liberty to say exactly what was going to happen, but I am at the moment this week getting everything confirmed with immigration, so everything should be good to go whenever I do go. But basically, I feel like the last few years exposed me to the rest of the world. People got... okay, so here it is. At the moment, it's everything to do with immigration, so I'm not able legally to do anything wrestling-wise until all my immigration is sorted. But it should be sorted out soon, and I'm very happy about that. It's ironic we're talking about immigration, considering the next story involves immigration, or at least the byproduct of what happens when you don't do things properly with immigration. Marcus Jonah, whose Twitter handle is Jonah is here, has maybe the worst wrestling name I've seen in some time. It's not good. It's not good. I was actually just thinking about this the other day, or maybe even this morning. I saw a pro wrestling name that was like, yeah, that's a pro wrestling name, and I can't remember who the fuck it was. I was even going to text you, like, this is the best wrestling name going today. Can't even remember now. Oh, it's Speedball. It's Speedball Mike Bailey. Like, Speedball Bailey. That's great. It's fucking, yeah, Speedball. Tells you exactly what he is.
Yeah, I also think that has a really good setup for like broad branding potential.
Oh, yeah,
Like
definitely.
come down to Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, such and such. I can feel like you turn that into a drink, like a lounge or something. A lot of potential there. Jonah, like all I can think about is Jonah and the whale, but in this case, Bronson would be the whale. And it's not, yeah. So it's a great name, but it's not. I don't know about a wrestling name. I don't know.
I mean, Jonah's a fine name if you have a baby boy. Like, I'm going to name him Jonah. This is biblical. Well, at least I think it is. But, like, as a wrestling name, it's like, ugh. Like, come on. Y'all can't be this naive. We know that wrestling needs better names.
Well, we also know somebody working that's also talented. That I thought he may have landed in Impact by now, but maybe not. We know a Buddy, so that's not exactly. It's still that particular one that still takes the cake. So
The only way that would ever get over for me is if you put P.D. Williams, Eric Young, Scott D'Amore, Bobby Roode, and A1 in a Las Vegas church, and you have them hanging out, and they're just doing their buddy from the death of, or the funeral of Team 3D. And then, like, on the last Buddy chant, Buddy explodes out of the coffin holding a Team Canada jersey going, Buddy! And then he just becomes, like, an animal. Like, he only says Buddy, and, like, he's just destroying people. Like, that's the only way that works.
speaking of Halloween, they should have, like, Impact should have either did, like, a run of the broken stuff, or, like, just had a whole day of, like, the broken stuff, the funerals, and all the decay stuff.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Missed opportunity. Specifically those funerals, because those funerals are all time. Like that's SNL level stuff.
It really is, and they need to go back to that shit. Just do it. Just do it already. Do another funeral. I don't know who you'd do it for though, but
Well, for us, we a certain couple on the show, and then we do a posthumous one for Dreamer, I guess. Oh man.
well, it sounds like Dreamer's getting ready to come back. The blowback is certainly lessening. He's already coming back to Bust Open Radio, so I would imagine that next week, or not next week, but not the next set of tapings, or come the start of 2022, he'll be back with Impact. And while I understand why people were upset about it, and it's not a great look, I don't think that dude should lose his career over it. Because like it definitely wasn't as bad as what some people were freaking out over. You know, it wasn't so much Dreamer excusing him so much as explaining. Like Flair is Flair. He gets away with a lot of shit. And let's be honest, like Vince has done far worse, and yet I don't see people, chastising him every single day. Well, I mean, I do, but
It's like when we used to do the comic calls, man. We used to tell people, look, man, there are writers' rooms and people that you find out about writers on those shows. Go after them. They write the stuff. Y'all blaming the actors like they set the shows up themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all, and a lot of times they just don't want to go after the people responsible because it's just too easy to go after these actors because it's who they see first. But I think with that, they went hard on Dreamer than Flair, even though it was everything that got said on that thing was 100% believable with Flair. Again, Dreamer set himself out there because he said it. He said the quiet part out loud, I guess is what they say.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I don't think he should lose his job, but I hope he do come back in a limited capacity. When I say limited, I mean off screen, because when he was on screen, it's one thing being an authority figure, but you can't be the authority figure and then put yourself in matches. I'm gonna need you to let the talent do their thing. I don't need you and your dad bod in a match going against Moose or whoever else.
That's where we're gonna differ because I want to see more Dreamer, but I do agree. I don't need to be seeing Dreamer in the ring and doing.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So Impact just announced their next orders of micro brawlers. I got 2 of them, not from Impact though, from MLW. I got a Alexander Hammerstone and an LA Park. So
Nice.
the series 3 is Heath, Willie Mack, Deanna Parazzo, Gail Kim, I believe, and Eric Young.
I only see the need for 3.
I could see Willie, Heath, and Gail. Those would be the 3 I would get. Like I said, I'm starting to become a Heath fan. I don't know why.
I like Willie Mack and Gail for me. Heath, I like Heath. Just not enough to purchase any merchandise of Heath.
Heath, I like you. I'm just not gonna pay for you.
Unless they like do one where he got the "I Got Kids" shirt and they have him like with some toddlers. I think that'll be like I had to bring him to work. I told you I got kids.
That would be something worth checking out. All right, Marcus. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
Oh no, man, that pretty much covered it. Yeah, that was it. We don't got no big shows coming up, thankfully, no big pay-per-views and nothing like that. And thank God nobody passed anything like that. So that pretty much, I think they're spot on for now.
So probably Wednesday we'll get some massive news that will be completely outdated from Monday. That's just our luck.
Ric Flair announces he's done with alcohol. And then the whole internet goes, really? That was a mid-stop. Really?
I don't know who's going to announce something more times in their life. Ric Flair saying he's no longer going to drink, which is not the first time he said it. Or Cedric Alexander, not Cedric Alexander, Leo Rush and what's the other guy's name?
ACH.
ACH. Both saying that they're going to retire again. Like both of those things are going to happen. ACH and Leo are going to say they're going to retire again, and Ric Flair's going to say is done drinking. But which one's going to happen when? I don't know. Oh, by the by, apparently Smiley Kylie, whatever her name is, she's taking a break from wrestling again.
Hey man, I guess she do it when she can in doses. I guess I guess that's a happy medium of what we talked about. If she can't necessarily do it full time, she come do a little stint, break, come do a little stint, break. That's better than her outright no showing. I guess.
True. I'm just of the mindset like, if you got to keep doing all these breaks, maybe this isn't for you. You know,
Yeah.
it's like whenever like a cop does something because he's got violent issues, like then maybe you shouldn't be a cop. Like, not everyone is for everything. That's the lie that our parents told us. You can be anything. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't be anything.
It's so funny bringing up the cop thing because on those whole conversations, like just because somebody has a job, that doesn't mean they're good at it.
Yeah. And you know me, I'm a big fan of the police because I was doing that. Like that was my career trajectory. That doesn't mean that I think every cop is a good cop. I've seen bad cops before. Yeah, you're not good at your job, homie. I know this because I was gonna have your job.
Like it's always weird to me how like everybody, what's the Superman thing? The safest way to travel is flight, and
Mm-hmm.
like you never really find out who's flying your plane. You never do. Like unless you do like some type of real due diligence, you don't know who the hell is in that cockpit. You may hear him over the speaker one time, but you could have freaking Mini Me and Webster up there. What? What? It's like and like they having to have a reacher for the gears and all that. Like you don't know what. So it's just like you got to be mindful of that, man. There's a lot of people with jobs that have no business having them. A lot of people with kids with no business having them.
Yeah,
Man.
you're not wrong.
Well, God bless her, man. I hope she if it requires that much, you can't necessarily be a long term in terms of somebody that depending on long term because what sucks is it's somebody if it's a lot of people that if they had her talent would definitely be able to be more dependable. But you know, it's kind of what it is.
That's why you got to keep finding new talent where you can, like 50-year-old former baseball players that dress up like Gene Simmons. Demon, yeah. I love that he's already with Decay. Like, yeah, this is Decay, the place for demons.
Oh man.
I hope he sticks around. I know it's stupid, but I hope he sticks around. And here's even the dumber thing. If Demon got this much press and publicity, what would happen if they went in and brought back Buff Bagwell? Could you imagine Buff and Johnny Swinger as a tag team?
Well, it's just weird because we talking about all these names. Didn't they just kind of retire the Swinger Palace?
Yep.
All these names would have been perfect for that. Like they freaking ended it on Chris Sabin having a potential love interest with an actually really good looking chick. And I'm like, what? Why? Like we moving Swinger Palace to Vegas. I'm like, actually, that seems like the perfect place to have Swingers Palace. But okay, whatever narrative, it's fine.
Well, we had the crib or whatever it is, the wrestler house. Now we had Swingers Palace. Now we got to have the next incarnation.
If they do the second rendition of that, which they should, that cast is gonna be really wild.
Yeah. Jesus, that's gonna be interesting. All right, my friend, we are done for the night. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. Marcus can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, TruePennyShow, on Twitter at True Penny Show. Check them out there. You can find me on Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. Hope your Halloween was good. My Halloween is technically carrying on over into tonight. I'm going to have some more post-Halloween fun. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Might get me a pizza.
Nice.
Maybe watch some Halloween spookums. And, yeah, I'm going to enjoy myself. Because yesterday I spent most of my Halloween working until trick-or-treating, and then...
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what's your preferred Halloween candy? You're not a candy corn guy, are you?
Oh, is anyone? Are you?
I was watching some people was like, that is my favorite. I'm like,
It's wax.
like
It's
you
wax. We're feeding you wax.
like you were a baddie. Now you just seem like a bad person.
Like, you know what happens like when you clean out your ear and you're like, yeah, you know where all that stuff, it goes into candy corn. Fact, scientific fact.
It's the loser Super Bowl jerseys of candies.
It's 1930 pro football jersey candy. Fun fact: candy corn's not being made anymore. Did you know this? Let me explain this to you. There's not been new candy corn made since 1930. They're all just eating the same candy corn. They shit it out. It gets sifted through by big candy corn, and it's washed off and redistributed in new packaging. Candy corn, the worst. Like, if you were to say, I'm going to give you candy corn for dinner or you have to become a Nazi, I'm going to have a hard time making that decision, Marcus. Because candy corn sucks that much. I'll be like, listen, I'm not a racist. Fuck, candy corn's the worst.
It's going ahead, behind, or right up on the pineapple with the pizza.
No, I would eat pineapple pizza before I eat candy corn.
I knew it. I knew you'd say it. Damn it. Man.
And, like, listen, like, I'm one of those guys, like, if I eat pineapple pizza, I'm slitting my own throat. Like, I can't come back from that. So I'm willing to eat that knowing full well what I have to do to myself in the interim. But, yeah.
Man.
Real quickly, before we actually sign off, we did forget to talk about Speedball Mike Bailey signing with Impact. We kind of got sidetracked. Briefly, he's phenomenal. He's the best wrestler on the indies in terms of pure raw talent. He's as athletic as Will Ospreay. He's as creative as Danhausen. He's very dynamic, and he wrestles a very realistic style. He uses his speed and athleticism combined with his martial arts skills. He's basically everything Ethan Page pretended to be, but for real. So this is a big signing. This is Bryan Danielson to WWE in 2010 levels of signing in terms of talent.
Like I said, I think before the show, I got introduced to him through Bola, man, Battle of Los Angeles, and you're not no scrub, consistently competing in Bola, man. So, that's a hell of a signing, and with our boy Trey Miguel sitting atop the X division, so I assume that's where they would place Mikey. I mean, obviously he can go anywhere, but the X division, I think, just got a hell of an addition to it.
Hell of a speedy addition. As for your Halloween candy question, I don't know if I would categorize anything as specifically Halloween related, but as far as my go-to candies that I always look for on Halloween, which you can buy in any store, would be a whatchamacallit.
I don't think I've ever had a whatchamacallit. That's interesting.
They are the champagne of candy bars.
Nice.
They're delicious. Now, if we're going like category common, Kit Kat or Reese's. Like, if I get one of those in my bag, I'll be like, all right.
Yeah,
I'm good with this.
I like a Reese's is a classic go-to. I like a Baby Ruth myself. And I recently in the past years have warmed up to, I think, what it is, a grand total.
Oh, the peanut and what was it? Peanut and caramel.
Yeah.
Caramel.
Yeah.
I don't get anyone who enjoys a bit of honey. You ever have that? Bits of honey? Oh, it's not good. They even made fun of it in an episode of Scrubs. Because Turk's a diabetic, so he can only have like one candy bar a month.
Yeah.
And he's telling his patient, like, yes, like I didn't know what to pick, so I just let fate pick it. So he closed his eyes and pressed the buttons. And so the guy's like, well, what'd you get? And he goes, a bit of honey. And the patient goes, ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm partial to Butterfingers too, but I like them when I get them soft. Cause I've come across them. I'm like, did churches put these with their biscuits? Like what?
Butterfingers are only good for me when they were in the BBs, the Butterfinger BBs.
Yeah.
Because when you bite into a Butterfinger, you don't ever know if it's going to be edible.
Yeah, man, it's a crapshoot sometimes. It's definitely a roll of the dice.
I remember one time I nearly broke my tooth off because I bit into the candy bar, but it was so firm.
Yeah,
and it's only ever been Butterfingers that did that to me.
Yeah, you got to immediately hit it from the side. I would not dare take my front teeth through that. No. So that's why sometimes I'm like, you know what, Hershey's, give me my go-to classic cookies and cream bar. Give me my.
Now that I haven't heard of, so I'll have to check that out. All right, so we'll be back next Monday. building up to the end of the year. We got to sit down and talk about our awards. They're coming up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're gonna do our year ends started December.
Okay.
So we'll see what else we can do from there. I don't know if I'm going to qualify most of November or not yet. That'll be one of those things where I think Bound for Glory is like a good stopping point for our evaluation period. So
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But that's coming up here soon, so we got to get into that mindset. So for Mark Strain, I'm Chad Portal. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.